Search engine optimization and why you find what you find when you search for something online. You're watching Making Sense with Robbie. Let's get started. So at the beginning of the year, I took this course on search engine optimization because I have a website and I write articles and I wanted to figure out how to get people to read them. And so this course was just about how to do that. It talked about the different ways about how to find out or figure out what people are searching for. It told you sort of how to figure out if there was too much competition and if it was worth writing some content about that topic. And then it also kind of gave you some suggestions about how to write the article so that people would read it from the beginning until the end. And this got me really interested in search engine optimization and more generally just about how we find what we find when we search for things on the internet. The first part of search engine optimization is basically figuring out what people search for. And so there's different ways of doing this. There's some tools that give you some suggestions about search terms or like keywords. The other way of like just typing into Google and seeing what does Google suggest. Like those are the kinds of things that people might be searching for. The sort of those auto suggestions are probably things that people are interested in. Like once you figure out what people are searching for, then you write content about that topic or about that sort of that question, or you sort of answer that question. The point here though is that like when you're creating content, you're figuring out what people are looking for and then you write about it. And while this getting started part is pretty clear or obvious about what you have to do, like once you get someone to start reading, and then it's kind of up to the person who's writing to take that user to a place. Maybe like the answer or maybe like the article like becomes some kind of like marketing for something else. And that like isn't always the case. Like sometimes the article just exists so that people go to the website and look at ads and click on ads. But like other times like articles exist so that people read them, get to the end of them and then like, take some action, like sign up for something or buy something. This is like the goal of search engine optimization is like creating content that people are looking for and creating content that they'll continue to consume. And then, having some kind of call to action, having something at the end that is sort of your point of getting them on that page in the first place. One of the other takeaways from this course was that like so many areas, so many topics are really competitive for search engine optimization. And so like when you search for something, sometimes you'll find like tons of results and you'll also find like lots of really like sort of specific results at the top. The course suggested like you shouldn't probably try and compete with these really popular terms because there's so much competition there already. From one perspective, it's like, okay, well, like if you're trying to get your content found, like you don't want to try and compete with these like really competitive sites. But at the same time, it's like if you're searching for a term and it's really competitive, then you have to like kind of think about, well, what does that mean for the truth in this case? Like what is the truth here if these results are all like highly like optimized, all these results are like very high authority on these topics? Most people online are doing search engine optimization and they are doing marketing. And so many of the results that you'll find on the internet are sort of written with this in mind. They're written with this intention, like they're trying to be the results that you click on and they're trying to be the results that you read. And so like there's this sort of like idea that what you find on Google, what you find when you search the internet is like marketing. And marketing is not always like really clearly trying to sell something. Like it could be marketing ideas, it could be like marketing influence, it could be marketing, or it could be selling perspective or bias or interpretation of events or things in the world. And so it's kind of important to keep this in mind. The key is that because people can make money doing this, like you need to be aware that you need to know that when you search for something online, that when there's like kind of profits at stake, that there's someone out there who is trying to be found, that is trying to make sure that they're at the top of the page. That is going to influence what you find. Like you're not necessarily finding the truth. You're just finding sort of the best results according to the search engine that you're using. What does that sort of say about truth? Like is truth like some objective thing that exists out there, or is like truth the consensus that's sort of driven by marketing, online marketing, by social or by search engine optimization? Like in a lot of ways, the results that you find are the ones that are the best optimized. And yes, they are following the rules and they are based on the algorithms of the search engine, the most accurate or the best answers, but they're not necessarily the truth, because sometimes the truth might not come from the sources that are sort of authoritative in the topic, or they might not come from a person who is authoritative, or they might not come from someone who knows about search engine optimization. They might just know how to, tell the truth. And so just keep that in mind. Keep that at the back of your mind when you're searching for things online. When it matters what you believe about something, then be aware that like someone is putting in resources and effort into making sure that you find their results over any other results. You might have this idea that like you're searching and you're finding something unique, or you're finding something that you're looking for, and like maybe you're finding the best results, but maybe you're also finding the results that are created by the best marketer. And like when it comes to like topics that they don't matter, like if it's, if you're looking up like ancient Greek philosophers, there's probably not going to be a lot of competition for that. And so you don't have to worry so much. But like when it comes to something like buying a car, like there's lots of money to be made there. And so there's lots of incentive for people to market the best that they can. And so there's lots of incentive for those results to be influenced. At the same time, it's like marketing or like things that you can buy, like it's not always a product that you can buy. It's not always a service that you can buy. Sometimes it's an idea. Sometimes it's a perspective. Sometimes it's a bias. Sometimes it's a sort of a frame of mind. And so like you're not always being sold a thing, but you could be being sold ideas. And so that's also a reason like why someone might be doing search engine optimization, is because they want to influence people's thinking. They want to influence people's perspective. They want to influence people's way of behaving. And I'll sort of reiterate this because like when something's important, when something is like popular, when something like matters sort of in the social consciousness, then there's so much incentive, there's so much motivation for that to be marketed for that to be like optimized as best as possible. And obviously like someone doesn't just get to choose to be on the top results, but like if you were say like a company, or if you were like a person, like you could in a way you could influence the results that come up when someone searches for you, because you don't have to pay everyone on the internet. You just have to pay certain people, like certain organizations, certain websites, to write positive things, and that would be enough to like sort of fill up the first couple of pages of Google, and that would probably be enough for most people not to even be able to find it. And so like if you can't, like just say you like look up something bad about someone, you can't find anything, like just keep in mind that there's like a big incentive. It's very possible that those sort of results could be hidden, because if there's power or if there's money involved, then there's always an incentive for you not to be able to find what you're looking for, or you being able to find something else. And so like always remember that like when you're searching, there is a whole industry built around creating like optimized content that shows up at the top of Google, and like it's competitive, and like you never know who's going to win, but like this, the whole idea, the whole point here is like that this is an industry, like there's literally an industry that trains or that teaches people how to get in the top of the search results. And so you have to just keep that in mind, because like the search results aren't necessarily the truth. They might not even be the best answer, but they are the best optimized. So the takeaway here is that it's difficult to know when you are being marketed to, like when you are being sold something. And so you need to think about what you find in the search engine. What is the person gaining by you believing this? Or what are people gaining by you thinking a certain way about things? Sort of use that as a background to try and make sense what you're looking for and what results you're finding. Because you always need to be cautious and conscious of the possibility that like someone is telling you an idea, someone is selling you an idea, not because it's the truth, but because there's some sort of benefit for them, either financial or like in a power situation or like some other benefit. So my question to you is like, have you ever even heard of search engine optimization? Did you know it's a thing? Did you know that it influences the results that you find in a search engine? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this entertaining or informative, click that like button. And if you are curious about learning about how to think about things, but you don't want to be told what to think about things, click that subscribe button, because that's what I'm here for. You've been watching Making Sense with Robbie. We'll talk next time. Goodbye.